Hi everyone. This is quite strange. Today's podcast is going to have me, myself and I. Vic has really sadly had a family emergency. So she is spending time with her family. Her grandma passed away a few days ago. So she is not going to be in today's episode, which sucks. But obviously, yeah, it's nice that she can be home in New Zealand with everyone. I think when things like that happen and you're overseas, there's nothing worse. We still have some great stuff coming. So the Curve Weekly is back to normal on Monday, and we have a special guest joining me for this episode. Her name's Abi Foster. She is amazing. She's kind of like the Vic of the UK, I would say. Anyway, she's going to be joining us for the Curve Weekly, which we're really excited about. If you want to find out more about who she is, we'll put her details in the podcast show notes. But I wanted to share something that's going on for me at the moment, which I have to be honest is not something I'm particularly proud of. I think if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you will have noticed I've said things like, oh, my emergency fund's getting smaller, or like, oh, I'm going to have to build my emergency fund back up. Basically, I've had quite a few massive expenses, and those have been things like unexpected health diagnosis, specialist doctors, things like that. And I wanted to admit this because I think, we're all friends here, and this podcast is about being honest about our finances. And I've actually had to borrow money lately. So I've spoken about this on our Instagram, on our socials before. It was sort of £100 here and there from my sister, which I was not proud of, my little sister, of course. But actually this was quite a decent amount of money, and it's quite embarrassing. I'm definitely not proud of it. I've come a huge way since, I guess 5 years ago when the Curve started, but I've had a bit of a slip up and I've had to borrow money from my parents, and in the form of a loan. So, I feel a little bit better about the fact that I'm, going to be paying interest on that and whatnot. But the reason I wanted to bring it up is that we recently interviewed Eliza Philby, and we did an episode all about the Bank of Mum and Dad, which if you haven't listened, it's such a good conversation. And I think the biggest takeaway was just explaining how so many of my friends' financial situations look so different. It's really easy to look around and judge yourself for where you are and feel confused why you're perhaps behind comparatively. So that just gave me a lot of context. And also just the reality of how much financial support, and lots of different ways. It's not just here's some money to buy a house, or here's some money you've run out, I'm going to give you a loan. It's really invisible ways. And I think if you haven't listened to that episode, I highly recommend it. So we've been working on something really hard behind the scenes. And when I say really hard, this has been in the works for 9, almost maybe honestly 12 months. And we're just putting the finishing touches on it. It comes out in a couple of weeks' time, so mid-Feb. So this is a podcast that's going to be coming out once a month. It's called IOU, and there's also a corresponding course. So there's IOU, the podcast, and then there's IOU, the practical. And the reason we called it IOU is just because we all are owed a bit of financial education. So the podcast, actually the first 3 episodes, we have Lucy Blackiston from Shit You Should Care About featured on those, and they're so much fun. And then in IOU, the practical, she's kind of like the Sophie. She's the student that's learning alongside Vic and I, and it's talking about all the basics like how to split your pay, how to know where your money should go, getting out of debt, short-term savings, long-term savings. It's really perfect for somebody who either A, has missed all of the basics, or maybe just wants a refresher. You have our promise, there is no confusing jargon. There's no assumptions that you know what you're doing. So this is perfect if you know someone who has avoided their finances. Doesn't matter how old they are, 18 or 48, this is perfect for them. It's super practical, really approachable, and the whole thing can be done in like less than 2 hours. It was also genuinely just so much fun to film, like so much fun. Lucy was over here in London with us filming, and it was a really good time. So we know you're going to love it, and we cannot wait to release it. So the first episode will be dropping mid-Feb along with IOU the practical. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Yeah, I think if you've started the year with financial goals, or you're wanting to get things a little bit different this year, hopefully this course is going to be exactly what you need to actually get your SHIT sorted once and for all. If you want to be the first to know when this drops, how you can get involved, make sure you sign up to our newsletter. We will put that in the podcast show notes, but just cannot wait to share this with you. Oh, before I go, actually, here is a sneak peek of episode 1 of the podcast. I'm going to play that for you now.
Welcome to I Owe You Some Money Education. Hi everyone, I'm Lucy. I run a business called Shit You Should Care About. It has about 3-point-something million followers. Not sure if you two know that.
Do you know that?
No.
Do you? Never heard of it.
Sorry,
Really
what's your
small.
name again?
My name's Lucy.
How does your business make money?
This is the question I get asked the most. It's always, what famous people follow you and how do you make money?
Can you answer the first one too, though?
I wrote a newsletter after doing an interview with you for The Curve about investing. And so I got a little bit empowered, and then I was like, wait, I need to show my flatmates how to set up an auto invest on Sharesies. If I'm teaching them how to do this, I might as well teach the audience. Most of your 20s is going to lunches and either being the person that's like, let's split the bill, or being the person that is like, I can't afford to split the bill. As a friend, you have to be really conscious of those people. Like if you want to go and you want them to come, cover them or don't make them pay for the shit they didn't eat. This is actually one of my favorite stories. I have this distinct memory. 2008, global financial crisis. Opening my parents' mail and it was a bank statement. I asked my parents, what is an overdraft?
So while we're talking about you as a kid, I think this is a very good segue. So we've done a bit of sneaky, and we've spoken to your dad, your stepmom, and your brothers.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
creepy.
If I have to tell you Lucy's worst spending ever, it's her decision to get
We'll be back from Monday with regular programming. So we will have the Curve Weekly. And if anyone wants to send Vic some messages of love, I'm sure she would love that. And thanks for sticking around. I'm really sorry that today has not been a normal, proper episode. Unforeseen circumstances. And if you cannot take a day off in your own business, then what is the bloody point? So sending lots of love to Vic. And we'll be back on Monday with a Curve Weekly.